Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. We all know that stories do have to come to an end eventually, and this is that time for our Kelli saga. So this is the last installment of Kelli stories. Let's begin. This one's from user SnooMuffins9396. Kelli stories. Employment troubles. As you may have figured out already, Kelli has more than her share of jobs. Some of you may be wondering why. Several reasons. The main one is that no matter what position Kelli is hired to perform, she always believes she's in management. Kelli was hired in a small family-owned pizza restaurant. It was run by a father and son, and apparently, Kelli. One afternoon, between the lunch rush and dinner service, the father went and sat at a booth in the restaurant to read the paper and relax. His son was laying down in a nearby booth, trying to catch a few winks before dinner. Kelli, seeing what the owners were doing, decided this is the perfect time to play one of the arcade games in the restaurant. The owner, Lou, asks Kelli, "What are you doing?" Kelli replies, "Taking a break, same as you." Lou says, "You've already had your break. You need to get back to work." So Kelli walks over to the booth that Lou was sitting in and sits down and takes a section of the paper that he was reading. Lou says again, "Kelli, we don't pay you to play games or read the paper. Now get back to work." Kelli immediately quips, "But you and Lou Jr. aren't working right now." Lou, now pretty mad, says, "We're the freaking owners. You're an employee and won't be one much longer if you don't get to work." Kelli tells me about this incident because I don't know why Lou was so mad at me. I wasn't doing anything wrong. I tried to explain to her how employer-employee relationships work, but she insisted, "I'm management." I told her, "Even if you are management, you're not an owner." She quit soon after because of how they treated her. "The same as the kids who deliver pizzas and wash dishes, and that's not fair." Poor Kelli. Always the employee and never the owner. Well, at least she didn't get fired and she quit before she would, right? I would say that regardless if she was the owner or the manager or whatever, if she already had her break and she still had things to do regarding her particular job and tasks, then she shouldn't be sitting down reading the paper or playing video games. If I was the owner and Kelli didn't have anything else to do regarding her particular work, then maybe she could help somebody, or I'd be okay with her sitting down and reading the paper. But if she already had her break and still had things to do, then no. But we already know that Kelli's world functions a little bit different than the rest of ours. Now, let's move on to the next Kelli story. Of course you know this one's from SnooMuffins9396. Kelli stories. How to lose friends and anger family. If you've gotten this far, thank you. In Kelli's teen and adult years, she burnt through friends almost yearly. There were a few who stuck it out for pity's sake, but they are rare. This story is about burning her longtime friend Mike and her nephew Henry. My nephew Henry called me one day to ask for some clarification about a story that Kelli had told him. Kelli had been telling Henry that the whole family was against her because she was gay. I told him, no way. We liked some of Kelli's girlfriends more than we liked Kelli. Then Henry told me that Kelli said, "You know why I'm gay, don't you? I was sexually abused at prom." I was stunned and told Henry she couldn't have been abused at prom because she never even went. Kelli never went to a single school dance. Henry and I spoke some more about Kelli and that maybe she told him these things because maybe she's feeling, I don't know, about being gay. Henry said he never cared about Kelli being gay, but why did she feel that she needed an excuse? Henry ended the call with more questions than answers about Kelli. About 2 years later, I get a phone call from Kelli's friend, Mike. Mike wanted to warn me about Kelli being on the run from her friends that she owes money. The story about Kelli's choice, you'll find a link in the description. And he was worried that she may turn up on our doorstep. I told Mike, Kelli doesn't even know what state I live in right now, and we had a good laugh. Then Mike says, "You know Kelli talks about you a lot and how you're such a mean, vindictive bee, but you're not." I told Mike, "You're not the first person to tell me that, but thanks." Mike then asks me, "Was your childhood as abusive as Kelli says?" I asked Mike, "What do you mean abusive?" Mike then begins telling me, "Kelli tells everyone how your parents beat you all regularly and were often left alone for days at a time without food." I almost started laughing, but just said, "Our parents didn't beat us and we were never alone. Kelli has either a vivid imagination or the drugs and alcohol have warped her memory. Mike then gets very serious before he asks, "But is it true that Kelli was sexually abused by 3 of your brothers? Right? I mean, she says that's why she's so messed up, because she can't even trust her own family to keep her safe." It takes me a moment to take this information in, and I ask, "Did she tell you her brothers' names?" Mike says, "I asked her for their names so we could look into pressing charges, but Kelli said she just wanted to leave it in the past." I replied, "Of course she couldn't give you any names. That's because Kelli only had 1 brother and he never touched her." Mike asked many more questions about Kelli's past, only to find that Kelli fabricated a very colorful, touching story about overcoming huge obstacles in her life without any help from anyone. At the end of the call, Mike was quite distraught over the fact that almost everything Kelli has ever told him was a lie. The aftermath. Kelli lost another friend, and Henry is also no contact with her. I never told Henry that Kelli has told people that his late father sexually abused her, and I never will. Mike is no longer Kelli's go-to friend or emergency contact. Well, if you're no stranger to the Kelli saga, then you know how messed up Kelli is, so making up all these lies about being abused by 3 brothers, 2 of them which didn't exist and 1 that never touched her, doesn't come as a big surprise, right? If you are new to Kelli, then here you can find a playlist that has all of the stories, and also I'll put a link in the description in case you want to check it out. So now it's time to move on to the last story about Kelli. And this story is the reason why OP is no longer in contact with her sister and really doesn't care anymore. So this is the last time I'm saying this. This one's from user SnooMuffins9396. Kelli stories. Why I am no contact with Kelli. This happened about 4 months after my 20-year-old son Mark had passed, and no one knew where or how to find Kelli, so she didn't attend the funeral. I really didn't want her there, to be honest. Emma, my brother Kyle's wife, had called me to let me know that she had run into Kelli at work. Emma worked at a spa, resort, golf course, restaurant, private club in upper management. Kelli saw Emma and ran up to her to embrace her like they had been lifelong friends. Emma was cool, but professional, and asked, "Kelli, who are you here with? What are you doing here?" Kelli introduces Emma to a couple of her friends and says, "We're here to have fun. We just left the restaurant and are heading over to get massages and facials." Emma tells Kelli, "Have them page me before you leave, okay? I need to talk to you." Kelli does her typical hyperventilating and working herself up, but Emma shuts her down. "Don't you dare pull that here. This is my place of work. If you can't keep yourself together, then I will have you escorted out. Got it?" Kelli nodded. After Kelli's massage and facial, she asks the staff to page Emma. Emma instructs Kelli and her group to meet her out front, not in the club, and Kelli complies. When Emma tells Kelli that my son Mark was gone, Kelli lost it. Full out crying and screaming. Kelli's friends trying to console her while Emma fills in the details. Kelli says, "I don't have Katie's number. Can you give it to me?" Emma is smart. She asks for Kelli's number and tells her, "I'll call Katie and give her your number and have her call you at 6 p.m. tonight." Kelli agrees and they each leave the club. Emma calls me later that afternoon and tells me what has transpired. She gives me Kelli's number and says, "You don't have to call her. You don't owe her anything." I thank Emma and tell her I'll think about it and call her the following weekend to let her know what I've decided. That night, at around 6:15 p.m. Kelli's time, we don't live in the same time zone, I decide to call Kelli. I wanted to hear what excuse she could possibly give for not attending her nephew's funeral. What I got instead was absolute proof that I am no longer going to give Kelli one more ounce of thought or energy. The phone call goes like this. "Hi, Katie." "Hi, Kelli." "Emma wouldn't give me your number, so I couldn't call you." "Yeah, I'm not comfortable giving out my number." Small talk goes for about a minute, and then Kelli says, "What happened to Mark? Oh my god, when Emma said she needed to talk to me, I was completely freaked out. I thought something had happened to Henry. I was so relieved to hear that it wasn't Henry and that it was Mark." Me, making a what the F face, deadpan sarcastic voice say, "Yeah, we were all so relieved. Kelli, I gotta go." Kelli, not paying attention to what she's saying, says, "Wait, do you have Henry's number or address? I really want to talk to him to make sure he's okay." Henry had also gone no contact with Kelli, so I wasn't going to give her his information. So I say, "No, I don't. Gotta go, Kelli," and I hang up. The aftermath, I sat and cried for a long time. Then I was glad that Kelli and I don't live in the same state, or I might have killed her. I realized that Kelli is never going to change, and I can either live with that or just never contact her again. So that's what I did. I have been no contact for a little over 4 years. She had someone contact me on Facebook Messenger. They actually tried to defend her. They gave me her number, and I called her and said, "I'm done. Goodbye. Don't have anyone call on your behalf either." Then I hung up and blocked the number. And that's it. Those are all the Kelli stories, all 18 of them. I have to say, it has been a roller coaster ride getting to know this Kelli character, and OP, I am so sorry that you had to endure a sibling like this, being so narcissistic and insensitive that she couldn't even realize what she was saying when talking about your son passing away. I would feel exactly as you, and I also would never talk to them again, ever. Thank you once again, OP, for sharing your stories with the Reddit community. I truly hope that sharing them has helped you like you said you wanted in the original posts. So now, OP, I say goodbye, and I hope that you and your family can just move on from this memory of a horrible person that you had for a sibling and just leave her in the past. Take care, OP. All the best. And so, we've reached the end of the video. I truly hope you liked it. If you did, leave a like. And don't forget to subscribe to reach our goal of 100,000 subscribers. Also, if you feel like chatting with others from this community, you can always join my Discord server and check out my subreddit. I'll leave the links in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next video.